What's not good is having to answer for lack of effort in an NFC championship game going into a Super Bowl, which is unprecedented. Not if you know the 49ers media. I don't think it is. You look across to other teams, and again, the guys that I was skiing with this weekend, one's a Chiefs fan, one's an Eagles fan, the other one's a Niners guy. They don't have what we have. Yeah, there's Eagles podcasts and Chiefs podcasts and things like that out there, but it's not the same. We have 60 plus. I'm one of many. The legion that is 49ers podcasters or content creators, whatever the hell you want to call us. It's interesting, but I'll say this, and I'll put this up there. Just with there's a couple clips Kyle talking about it, and everybody got asked about it. The film is pretty damn consistent, and I think one of the issues has been the Niners are one of the most all-out effort teams in the NFL. I break down film from all these other teams, and I see lack of effort consistently. You don't usually see that with the 49ers, but here's Kyle talking about it.
I just understand how social media works, and I understand when a clip looks bad and it goes around, that's everything. But there was a few bad clips in the game, which I bet you I can go find those in a lot of games. But I don't question at all our lack of effort and how hard we work and how hard we go and run to the ball always. Were we 100%? No, especially on a couple big runs that really looked really bad. But that's on a few plays, which aren't acceptable, but I'm not sitting here acting like that was the whole reason. That's why they got a few extra yards on those two plays, but that game was more about how we played run defense, just not not all 11 guys running on every single play.
Yeah, I mean, that's just it's funny. I stick to the Javon Kinlaw last year. We were talking about the same thing in the NFC Championship last year. Now it was off of a loss, but people wanted to blame Javon Kinlaw for the issues last year because he had some negative plays, and he did. Like, that's just what it is. And shout out to my man Michael Hoff, the legend. He says, "Who would have thought Javon Kinlaw would have been as impactful as he has this season?" I'm with you. That dude has been just lights out. But like last year, people put out a couple clips, and I've been guilty of this too. I remember there was one play where the 49ers were on the goal line driving in or trying to score a touchdown, and Mike McGlinchey blocked nobody, literally dove in between two defenders. And I put the clip up there. I was frustrated, caught a lot of traction, got million plus views, and I was just like, God, this sucks. Like, I I wanted to illustrate the point that he's not playing well, but I don't take into account how this affects the perception of him and the fan base and all that stuff. And that's something I still struggle with today. Um, but the same thing happened to Javon Kinlaw. Now, I didn't put up those negative clips. I've been trying my hardest not to do that. Sometimes I do still do so. But man, I went back and watched the second half of Javon Kinlaw in the NFC Championship game against the Eagles. He was one of our best defensive linemen. Perception is reality. And I hate that that's the way that it is. But Shanahan goes in a little bit further, talking about players taking the plays off here.
No, not at all. I mean, that's kind of what I was referring to on, I think, our conference call on Monday. But it's, and I know it looked bad on the clip that you guys have and stuff, but it's, yeah, no, it's not our culture. We don't want to have one play like that. I think we had about 2 to 3 in that game, which is too much for us. We don't want to ever have one, but it wasn't just the D-line. There was a few backside people who weren't going, and they're expecting someone else to make the tackle. And whenever you're expecting someone else to make the tackle, bad things happen.
There we go. And so you got to have the all out effort and all those things. But like, man, there's so many hustle plays. Like, it balances it out. And whenever you play, let's see here, the 49ers defense played 72 snaps, which is a lot more than normal. And especially after they had all that success in the first half, for them to come back and make those plays. And you got a lot of guys. I mean, listen to these snap counts. Okay, all these players played every single defensive snap, all 72. Jair Brown, Demo, Greenlaw, Fred Warner, Charvarius Ward, Tayshaun Gibson. Okay, all of them played 72 snaps. Bosa missed 2. He played 70. Chase Young, who's the player that everybody's kind of highlighting, he played 56 snaps. I'm not saying that's an excuse. That's all I'm saying at all. It's just, you got to take the entire thing. You can't just talk about 1 or 2 plays. That's not the world in which it's a 72 play sample size. 72. So I don't know.
the 49ers Rush podcast.